Hello scholars, welcome back to the Kemet Maasai Academy as we continue our series of motivational videos for students. As usual, I'm reading from the Student's Master Plan, Hardcore Rules for a Lifetime of Success. The topic that I'm looking at now is be willing to make sacrifices. One of the key differences between those who achieve success and those who don't is the willingness to make sacrifices. You have to be willing to put in the necessary hours and commit yourself to study. Young people these days have been accused of having a get-rich-quick mentality. They are in hot pursuit of the almighty dollar, and they don't intend to chase it for very long or very far. They want to roll in dough, and they want to do so ASAP, aka right now, which often boils down to them doing various unmentionable tasks to get it. 2 or 3 generations ago, it was the norm to have big dreams, just as it is today, but it is also the norm to commit yourself to the diligent and honest pursuit of those dreams. People understood that it would be necessary, and they were quite willing to put in the hours, shed the sweat, burn the midnight oil, put their shoulders to the wheel. Yes, all those old cliches came from the generation who were willing to make sacrifices and on whose shoulders we stand today. I've always held the position that I only want commendation for what I have earned. I'm not interested in handouts or consolation prizes. When I know that I have put in effort and I earned something, then I have no qualms about basking in the rewards. What are the sacrifices that you might have to make as a student? You may have to sacrifice simple pleasures as well as major luxuries. Your disposable income may have to go into resource material as opposed to personal treats. Your social life may at times have to take the back burner to study time, especially as exams approach. Don't complain or writhe in anger, in agony. Sacrifice is a necessary evil if you want success. I was speaking with an old classmate of mine. We were in high school during the mid 80s to early 90s, right? From first to sixth form, 7 years of high school. So 85 to 92, 93 thereabouts, right? And she was saying to me, we're reflecting on school days, and she was saying, I remember having to walk to school sometime. Now, she lived about 5 or 6 miles from where our school was. I didn't know this at the time, right? So when she said it to me, I was saying to myself, wow, I didn't even know, because I would just see her at school. She was on time for school. She left in the evenings. I had no idea that sometimes she had to walk back home because she had no money. And she said to me, do you remember that I had to be selling sweets at school? I do remember her selling these lollipops, bonbons. I had no idea it was something that she had to do because she had no lunch money. She was moving from relative to relative, and this is something that we didn't know, or at least I didn't know. I just saw my classmate, we were talking, laughing, doing girlish things at school, but here was someone 14, 15, 16 and having to sell things, and this what she was not supposed to be selling in the school, right? she had to be doing this just to make sure. And she could have just said, well, I have no one really to support me, I'm just going to drop out of school, right? Many students take that decision. I have no one to back me up, I have no one to provide, I'm just going to drop out and go and do whatever. No, she did not do that. She used her, just that drive to be better. And no, the whole reason why we came to be talking about this is she was expressing to me how important it is for her now to lend a helping hand to other students who she sees struggling. She's willing to pay part of the tuition, to provide books, to provide lunch, anything she can do to help, because she knows what it meant to have the drive, to want to study, want to get your education, but not having that support system behind you, right? And many children take for granted the sacrifices that others make for them, and they are not even willing to make sacrifices for themselves either. They just want everything to fall in their laps. They want all the luxuries, all the comforts. And I keep reminding them that in other places or other parts of the world, sometimes I show them videos of students and the grueling commute that they have to undergo just to get to school. And these are the ones who have a school to go to. Some children have never set foot in a classroom. They wish with all their might that they had a class to attend, that they had a class to be a part of. They have never touched a book, they have never touched a pencil. They just have not had the opportunity. And I show my students videos of children 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 crossing rivers every day, cross the river to school. And when I say river, I mean serious life-threatening currents. Some of them, they hoist them on, they put them in baskets and swing them across the river, right? Or they have to walk 10 miles to school, 10 miles back from school. I, growing up, had a grueling commute as well. I had to leave my home at 4:30 in the mornings. The bus that I took to school was it wasn't a bus that you could get easily. It was crammed. And you pretty much were suffocating in the bus. I lived on a hill, right, in Red Hills in St. Andrew. And just getting to school was trauma. In the evenings when you had to go back home, you couldn't get a bus. You were there at the bus stop for 2-3 hours. Night coming down, sometimes you had to walk back up the hill. But I did not mind because I wanted to get my education. For some children, they are given, they have parents who they give them a little money, and that money must cover everything. It must cover lunch. For the girls, it must cover their sanitary wear when they need it. It must cover every bus fare. It must cover everything. It must buy notebooks when they run out. It must buy pencils. So not every parent appreciates what exactly they need to do as a support system for the children. They might provide just the minimum, the bare minimum, right? And you have to go into your lunch money to buy all of these things. It's a sacrifice you have to make. If you want good for yourself, don't use the excuse to say, okay, I don't have that support, and so I'm just gonna give up. I'm just gonna go with the flow, or I'm going to go out there and seek someone, a sugar daddy or a sugar mama, who can give me the money that I need, and I won't have to study, I won't have to work. Unfortunately, many youngsters take that position. They're not willing to do without. They're not willing to endure the hardship. They just immediately want that gratification, that easy life, the quick money. I had a student just the other day, the last term, the second to last term of this school year, and this student, 15 years old, and he dropped out of school because he was saying, well, I look at my dad, and my dad doesn't have much of an education, and my dad is hustling. My dad is a hustler and he has money. He drives a big car. And so this young man is saying, why should I get an education when my dad doesn't have one and he's a hustler, he's an earner? Well, I tried to reason with him, and his mom tried to reason with him. This has been ongoing for months, and we tried to get him to see that your dad isn't going to tell you all his struggles. I'm sure your dad with all that entrepreneurial knack that he has, all those skills he has honed on the street, going through hardship that he might not share with you. But I'm sure if he had an education on top of that, he would be so much better and not having to hustle so much. We need to get out of that hustling mentality, right? I don't think an entrepreneur should take on this this brand as a hustler. I don't like that, the whole sound of the word. Just no, you're not hustling. You are in business and you're making moves, conscientious moves, in order to progress your business. That's a different thing. And parents, we need to share with our children how hard all the things that we went through, because sometimes we try to avoid telling them these things so as not to turn them off from life. But what it does is it gives them this naive sense of reality. It's like they don't really understand what is out there and how difficult it is sometimes. And then they're just going to end up making the same mistakes again, because they don't understand how much they need to avoid going back down that road. And so they do the same thing that you did. So we must share with our children what we've been through, the hardships we've been through, and how much we want to avoid that for them. Right? Because they will look at things and they will get the wrong interpretation of things. And they will feel like, okay, I can do this, without fully understanding what they're getting themselves into. And students, I'm appealing to you to have that attitude of being willing to make the sacrifices that are necessary. If it means you have to go without something that you really enjoy, if your parents say, listen, I can't afford this, I'm paying your school fees, I'm making sure you have your books, I'm making sure you have your uniform for school, I feed you, but I can't buy that brand of phone that you want, I can't buy that toy that you've been asking for, I can't buy that, those other little things that are not crucial at the moment. They're not indispensable at the moment. You can do without them, not because you see your friends have it. You're pressuring your parents to get it just to show that yes, you too can have it. Don't pressure your parents to buy things that they're telling you they can't afford, because they have a lot of things to balance, to juggle. They have bills, they have to provide food, they have to make sure you have a shelter over your head, in addition to taking care of themselves as well. So if you express that you want a particular thing and you can do without it, and your parents are telling you no, not no, or no, I just can't, just accept that, and work with what you really, really need. Prioritize. You have to get your priorities right and understand what you need and what you might want but you can do without. Because remember, there are students in this world who are getting by on the bare minimum and they're going through so much, all for the sake of getting their education. So you have what you need. You might not have everything that you want, but you have what you need, and take advantage of that. Be grateful for that. And if it means that you need to just do without those so-called luxuries for the time being, do that and focus on your lessons so that you'll get to the point where you can afford these things. You don't have to be asking somebody to get them for you. Get yourself to the place, because remember, you have to break the cycle. You have to break the cycle of poverty. You have to break the cycle of living from hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck. You came into that. Maybe that's how your family was set up for generations, just eking out an existence. In order to break that cycle and start a new tradition, being in the position to afford whatever you want, whenever you want it, it means you will have to do a little sacrificing now so that you get your education, get yourself in a position where you can either start your business or go to work for someone in a top position because you know your stuff, you're qualified to do the job. And then now you'll be able to not only provide for yourself and your family, but to pull the extended family out of that cycle, break the cycle. Okay? In Jamaica, we have a saying, if you want good, your nose have to run. Right? If you want good, your nose have to run. And that simply means you must have the ultimate goal, but understand that to get there, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. If you have been motivated by this video, please don't hesitate to share it so others can be motivated as well. And remember, when you subscribe to the Kemet Maasai Academy, you're not only accessing the motivational videos, but there are tons and tons of mathematics videos available for you to watch from grade 4 to grade 11. Isn't that awesome? This is something you should take advantage of. And I would encourage you to share these mathematics videos with your friends, your neighbors, your siblings, your classmates, everybody, particularly those students who you know could use that boost. You know they're struggling in math especially, or they need some motivation. Share the motivational videos with them. Share the mathematics videos with them. We want to dissipate the fear of mathematics. We want to dissipate because so many persons have that fear. We want to just shed it, get rid of it, and so everybody can understand that math is approachable, math is understandable. You just need to focus, you need to practice, but it is definitely something that you can do and do well. So my scholars, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.